Welcome to Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Today we are back in Berlin and we have Sofia May.
Hello, world.
So
I come in peace.
You come in peace. You really do. I don't believe otherwise. You're definitely peaceful. You're a peaceful creature.
Thank you, but that's not what the critics of Emily in Paris would say about me, would they?
Oh, you really want to get into this.
I just feel like that's a smooth segue into my rage and how my violent propensity.
Yeah, no,
that's
great.
Brought out by that show.
Before we started recording, you brought it up, and I was like, whoa, let's save it.
Well, you brought it up, so yeah.
Well, you brought it up. Well, we were talking about models because you're wearing an American Apparel shirt. I'm wearing, I don't even know what this is. I think it's a Cheap Mondays, which is like the American Apparel of Sweden. I think I cut off the tag.
Oh, I didn't know that Cheap Monday was like, I know Cheap
Swedish.
Monday. It was a big deal in the U.S. when we got when skinny jeans made their first appearance in New York City in the year 2004.
Yeah.
Cheap Mondays were a hot item. They were the thing. Yeah.
And they still they make good cuts. But yeah, I think it's like Swedish child labor or whatever.
Oh, can you imagine how
Greta's in there.
Yeah, like how just blonde those sweatshops are.
Yeah, good labor rights and stuff. Okay, so
labor rights for kids. Those kids at least have rights.
Yeah, the right to work in the sweatshop and probably Fridays off. I guess they'd have to do that as well. Greta Thunberg's Norwegian.
Maybe they have casual Fridays.
Yeah, casual.
Where you can in the sweatshop where you can
wear your rags.
I mean, like if they're if it's Sweden, it's like American. They're probably wearing American Apparel. That's their rags.
That's their rags, right? Yeah, they're like this old thing. And my emaciated body. Okay, yes. So we're talking about models being skinny, American Apparel having gone down the drain. Oh, hold on. I just need to do a bit of a warning, guys. I got back from Australia 2 days ago, and the jet lag hit me yesterday. And so, if at any point I'm just not myself, I'm suffering a little bit. Is that my fault? Oh my God! See, look at me. Look how unprofessional I am.
Unprofessional.
That's my phone. Fuck.
She's really out of it, folks.
I'm so out of it. And the thing is, I traveled back in time, which is always what happens when you go
pretty cool
from Australia to Germany. Yeah. But I left Australia on the morning, and then I came to Germany that night of the same day. But there was 24 hours of travel. So I won 12 hours.
So the day of travel is just folded into a wrinkle in time. It doesn't actually exist.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah, which is what my body's currently feeling. It's like being sucked into the core of the Earth's time system. Yeah, I'm struggling, guys. So
into the bowels, right?
Cogs of time and lava.
Right. Somebody needs to. You need to get a mechanic to pull you out and...
I need some pliers.
Yeah. Reassemble you.
Get a spanner.
Get a what?
A spanner? You guys have... Is it called a spanner?
Well, we might have them, but I don't know.
All right.
I don't know about them.
I thought you had power tools.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a hammer.
Dude, weren't we bonding over because you haven't been to my apartment since I had a boyfriend who was a handyman, and how I benefited from that. And since we broke up, I've invested in power tools. And you were like, yeah, isn't it great how we just need the tools, and men just they gatekeep these jobs and the confidence around doing. Isn't it great? You don't have any tools.
I mean, what do I have? I must have. That didn't come from nowhere, but I don't think that I have any tools.
I appreciated feeling supported, but you were lying. Okay.
No. I'm just trying to, right, I'll just say anything, right? To support a woman.
Yeah, you're coming in pieces now. Okay, no. All right, so let's talk about Emily in Paris. Okay, my interest in this is that I've never watched it. And on the train ride from Frankfurt to Berlin, after my 28-hour journey, I then I was like, you know what? Getting back from Frankfurt to Berlin, I think I'll catch a train because that's a good idea. And so that was another 7 hours. And halfway through it was like leaving at midnight.
Which, by the way, Anna said reminded her of being a Jew during the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
That it was almost as bad. It was, and you know what? As a Jewish person, I believe her.
Yeah, honestly, though, the trip to Australia...
What she described was just unimaginable.
Oh, the trip to Australia, I talked about it in the last podcast episode. It was a riveting episode.
There should be books written about your journey. Like Hannah Arendt should write a book.
Well, I don't know who that is.
Oh, she's like the ultimate authority on what happened during the Holocaust.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's her
and
name?
Hannah Arendt.
Hannah Arendt.
And she wrote The Origins of Totalitarianism, which has 3 parts.
Why is she the authority?
She's just like she's a historian, historical political writer, and she's just she was one of the most I guess she was like one of the most insightful political critics of the Holocaust.
Okay.
One of the few critics of the Holocaust.
One of the few.
Very insightful. She really, she...
At what point did she come out? Like, was she, like, writing stuff in the 50s, or was she writing stuff more in more recent times?
I guess it was definitely in the 1900s that she was writing, and so sometime between the Holocaust and
2000,
the millennium. Sometimes between the Holocaust and when the Backstreet Boys dropped their Millennium album.
All right. Oh no, I don't know the Millennium album. Okay, so at some point she wrote some stuff that was okay. So she's.
But we don't have to talk about that.
Is she
talk about Emily in Paris?
Is she important?
It's more important.
Like, has she been the target of like Holocaust denier hate, or is she just like someone that people reference a lot when they ever need to reference like true data regarding what went down?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, maybe you've heard of. She also wrote The Banality of Evil, Eichmann in Jerusalem. Like she wrote like
Evil,
all the biggest books that were critical responses to the Holocaust. Like she did her due diligence to dissect the underlying forces that were at work behind all these atrocities. It's just like she was good. She was really good at what she did. Yeah, but she also came under fire because The Banality of Evil is talking about how there's something inherent in human nature that's capable of doing such terrible things. And so like there were a lot of critics for that. They were like, you can't say that, like, this was a special case. And she's like, no, human beings can be very like this shit can get, it's like, I mean,
this
she was trying to tell the truth
anywhere,
right,
like, with the right circumstances.
Like we have to look at the truth of this if we want to prevent it from ever happening again. And people don't want to know that. People don't want to know a lot of difficult true facts.
For sure. So the book I was reading is by Primo Levi, and he addresses some of those things at the end, which in like a question answer format, which was very cool. And yeah, his perspective on that stuff's interesting. But anyway, Holocaust. Look, my trip back was actually lovely. But I bring this up again because like my trip, and I think talking about like bad travel stories is just like the most old person relative thing to do, right? Like it's like talking about your bad customer service experience. It's just like no one cares.
Oh, that's funny because that topic really gets me going.
You should talk to my mom. You guys would get along really well.
I mean, I'm like,
because my mom can go for days.
I love to complain about customer service and how I've been wronged.
That's why you live in Germany. Oh my God.
That's why I live here. Yeah.
Like it gets you going.
Nothing more satisfying.
Oh, did I see a comedian? Someone said something about how whenever they see bad customer service, that's when they get really excited and they're like, like what's gonna happen next?
Oh yeah.
Some
and then
comedians got a bit
they
about
get close and they're like, okay, well, I got a good seat.
Yeah, exactly. It was some fucking Instagram reel.
Sorry, I just wanted to say this is very dumb, but that is how I respond to public male gay sexual behavior, like public displays of affection by gay men. Like once I went to a gay club here
Just
with
once.
a bunch of gay guys. Yeah, unfortunately, it's actually a sad. My numbers are really down.
Oh, really?
But I went there. Yeah. Wait, I went there, and then there was like a show where there was this like hot twink getting fisted by whoever wanted to.
Oh, you went to the right club.
And like people would just get up, they volunteer, they just like suck him out. Like the ugliest guys were finally getting to live out their fantasies of sucking the dick of a handsome young boy. And I, like, as soon as I was in the back of the room, I walked in, I was like, what are they doing here? I was like, oh my God. And I just pushed my way to the front. I was like, get out of my way. I need to be at the front. And like, just so I could watch it as closely as possible. And I was like, it's one of my favorite things.
Wow. How is this related to bad customer service? No, it's why you live in Germany.
I don't know. I don't remember.
How did you get to that?
Oh, pushing my way to the front, because that was just the joke I made.
Okay.
Right. With the comedian who's like, they like to
they're watching and they're excited.
Yeah.
Okay. That's you pushing your way to the front to see some man-on-man fisting.
Right. Some like
ugly boy
gay.
Getting his mouth filled with this cute young boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
One of my we're gonna get to Emily in Paris. We
better.
But my favorite gay club experience of like being an observer was it wasn't Berghain, just to drop the fact that I've been there, but no.
You can. I've also gotten in. It's fine. We are both part of the club.
We are.
And we can look down our noses at everybody else who hasn't gotten in.
Losers. The best one was it was my first time there, and I watched, or second time, and there was this still dropping stuff. It was in Panorama Bar, and there was a guy fucking a guy who was fucking a guy.
What?
On
That's
the dance
a human
floor.
centipede.
I know. I was like, the human centipede fucking.
Human centipenis. Sorry, that's the human. Wow.
Human centipenis.
Were they? That's amazing. That's
human
my dream.
Penal. Oh, it didn't work. Humanal centipede.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I like the human centipenis. That's the best one. That's humanal centipede.
It's inhumanal.
It was Humanal centipede. Inhumanal. It's in the human. Okay, we need to stop this.
Yeah. No. We never stop.
Or we never stop. We double down.
That's what they did.
That's what they did. It was impressive, and they were still dancing. Well, it was German dancing, but they were dancing on the dance floor as well.
So they were going like this.
Yeah. There was like a bop. There was a head bop with like occasional like arm lift, but they were all like into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy at the front was just a happy, like, cheerleader. Yeah.
He didn't have to put his dick in anything. He just had a dick. It's like
the middle guy's the winner.
Oh, he is. You're right. He's the winner. That's right. They probably all. I guess if you get a top and a bottom for the front and the back, and then you get a versatile middle.
Yeah.
And then
you get a hungry little caterpillar in the middle. And then you got the humanal centipenis.
Although I guess actually, okay, so that's the humanal centipenis.
Mm-hmm.
A human centipede that's just like a sexual human centipede would be you can do it with women too. That she's giving head, because that's how it is. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, it's mouth. It'd be oral to back.
Anus.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, because you've got.
Oh, but if you're doing the food thing, if she's constantly swallowing.
Right.
No, but. I wonder. Okay, could you'd have like
You can also only have.
I feel like we need a whiteboard and we can draw it out. Cause
we're just thinking about an Eiffel Tower. A less classy Eiffel Tower.
But an Eiffel Tower. Oh, I'm thinking the Arc de Triomphe. What's an Eiffel? Because an Eiffel Tower is when it's the same as an Arc de Triomphe, right?
I don't know. The Eiffel Tower is where the Arc de Triomphe is probably like just the connection of the woman sucking the penis and getting a penis in either one of her two viable holes in the back. And then the difference is that for an Eiffel Tower, the dudes up top high five.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so that's the moment of Eiffel Tower is when the hands touch at the top. The point of.
I think the Arc de Triomphe is 2 women, 2 men. and they kind of make like a bridge thing, and it's more like.
And then what are the women doing? Just making out?
They just high five.
Okay. Well, good. At least there's also high fiving going on.
Yeah, none of that lesbian shit. Just high five.
yeah. Ew, don't be gay.
Ew, gross. Exactly.
Don't kiss. Ew. The men are probably like, ew, 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 ew. Don't. No. Don't be gay.
Don't be gay. Okay, there's so many different
lady fags. In the words of I didn't invent that. That's Patrick's.
Yeah,
I want to give him all the credit in the world. Patrick Moore, lady fag term coiner.
How do you feel about the bundle of sticks word? Do you feel like you can say faggot?
Oh, absolutely. But the way I like to say it is like, it's kind of like the way I do my 9/11 bit. I go, fucking faggots. Like, that's how you make it work. And I'm sure there are other voices that will really bring it home too. Fucking faggots. But that's how we did it in New York. That's how it's
always
done.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, you can really imagine that woman
being a homophobe.
Yeah, or not really being a homophobe, but just having no filter.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's my favorite word that I'm scared to say.
Oh, it's my favorite. I don't really get why we can't say it anymore. I feel like that's a weird. That does make sense to take away because it's so joyful.
It's so joyful. I actually in Australia I knew a woman who had faggot tattooed on her breast.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Nothing's stopping her.
My mum's first comment when she saw that was, "But what will her child think when it's breastfeeding?"
It can read. Because babies can read. They're born knowing how to swim and read.
Exactly.
And the thing is that if you don't birth them in water, then they won't just naturally swim.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do, then they naturally swim. And the same thing with reading is that if you don't expose them to literature right away, then they won't know how to read. But if you do, then they just it's instinctive. They know how to read.
Exactly. Like tadpoles know how to read.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So hold on. Wait. Faggots. Okay.
Fags. Yeah. I love the word. I want to say it forever.
I feel like we can say fags fine. Like fag is fine, but fag.
And I saying what a fag. It's just like saying like what a fag. Like, yeah. But it's like a love. It's in term of endearment for me. Because I love gay people. I don't have a homophobic bone in my body, unfortunately.
Right.
That's how much I love them. That I'd love to have a
I'd love some
not a homophobic, but a homo bone. I love a homo bone.
Love a homo, but wouldn't. Okay. You'd love to have a homo bone, but like you don't. The thing is, we can say like the thing is, I feel like society's got to the point where it doesn't matter how much your actions and everything you say show that you're not homophobic. You can say one thing, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, you're homophobic," and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
right? It's a gotcha thing. It's because everybody's like, I don't trust your intentions, so I'm lying in wait for you to slip up.
Yeah.
And the moment you do, this will overshadow your entire personality and your history, and it sucks.
Well, I don't understand how to combat this fear because I feel the fear very strongly, and maybe it's because I've had a couple of run-ins with like one or two gay people that just assume, like, despite like wanting to hang out with me and being really friendly with me and me, like, also like I you know, like, how much pussy do you need to eat as a woman before it's like, you can't call me homophobic? Like, what the fuck?
That's such a good point. It's such a good point. I mean, like, you've been gay. And like, if you're gonna act out gay stuff, I mean, you can have internalized homophobia, and there are plenty of homophobic. I mean, like, lots of homophobes are gay.
Yeah.
But, like, if that starts being a part of the conversation, then the conversation of that kind of homophobe becomes a lot more nuanced and complicated. But that's not even what we're talking about.
No. I feel like a lot of this isn't what we were talking about. But I feel like, I just feel like, I had a moment of clarity there around, you're only homophobic if you're fucking discriminating, or like, you know, like, it's only if it's like you're treating someone badly because they're gay.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are we jumping just from someone's words to like branding their whole behavior? And it's like, it gets me angry. I'm sick. I don't like this fear.
It's true. I mean, I think with the same with the word retard, which everyone misses except for a few sourpusses. And just because of those sourpusses, we all have to, I mean, that's what I've seen, is that everyone misses the word desperately.
It hasn't hit Australia yet. Like my mom was just dropping the L word constantly, and I'm like, Mom, you can't say that. Just and she was like, oh, whatever. Mom, you're an intelligent, like you're aware of what's going on in the world. You can't just be dropping this shit in public.
Well, maybe she's a bit of a retard.
No, she is.
Maybe she's a bit emotionally retarded. That's the only way I can make sense of it.
I made a promise not to use it because I researched it and I explained on the pod, but basically, like, it was the word for, like physically and mentally, disabled people, and like in the law books. Yeah, it was the word retard.
It was the formal name, and I mean, also if you like the etymology of the word, it's just that it's that the progression of something has slowed down.
Totally, yeah. In Italian, like I'm late is I am retarded.
They're so lucky. They never have to stop. I be late all the time.
Yeah, right. Right. But the thing is, we should be able to use that verb. Being like, I'm so retarded. It's like you're going backwards. You're not functioning the right way. But because that word used for. But the thing is, it was used for people like that. Now it's not. So, if you're like, you're so mentally disabled.
Right.
Then that's.
Yeah, that would be pretty mean. That would be really fucking
mean. It would be mean to mentally disabled people to refer to you as stupid, through that.
But I think that retarded's just got there's so much party in it. Because it is charged. Like, that's
Black Eyed Peas knew it.
Yeah. But I think the thing is that, I mean, this is why words become a problem, and also why we love them, is because it's supercharged with decades and centuries of usages and connotations, and that's all inside of it. But I think the thing is about the word retarded is that it diverged so far from like what you would like people meant something fairly different from what from like actually meaning like you're like a person with Down syndrome. That is in there, of course, but I think that it just became such a casual kind of like fun way to make fun of your friends that people just think of it as that, like like I just think of this as I think Bill Burr has a bit about that. Also, Louis C.K. has this bit where he's like, when we used to use the word retarded, and back when we used it, there were a lot more of them around. Yeah. And now we don't use the word, and you never see them anymore.
Yeah, they have disappeared a little bit.
Yeah.
I was somewhere recently. I was like, that's where they all are. But I'm
Where are they?
I can't remember where it was.
But that's probably the problem. People are just
getting... ding, ding, ding. I was like, there's so many more here, but I can't remember what city it was.
But there's a special city.
Okay, speaking of special cities,
Emily in Paris. Paris, the most special city in the world.
Maybe it was Paris. I was there recently.
You were, right. Life-changing.
Yeah.
Just a year. That was your Emily in Paris story.
Oh my gosh.
Falling in love, falling out of love in Paris.
I got some good material from that breakup. Yeah.
Did you watch Emily in Paris on the train? Is that...
No, thank you. Yeah, why did I... Okay. My connection was train from Frankfurt to Berlin. And it was like a really like midnight train, and I was going the whole way to the end. And so I saw all of this change of passengers, and the last person to sit next to me was this like little frustrated twink of a female. She was a teenager. And
seems pretty masculine to me.
A twink of a female. She did have quite a strong jawline. Okay. She was a pretty young thing, and very slight, and definitely But she really, she sat down next to me, but she really made her presence known. Like she didn't have a reserved seat, and I was, sleeping across both seats. And then her mum comes up and asks if they're free. Now, there's all these other free seats on the train they could have taken, but they chose to sit at our table seats.
Oh my God, that is...
And like wake me up so that they can sit next. Yeah. And then this little bitch really like makes her physicality, like she takes the space, you know. And it's like, what are you fucking...
Was she a teenager? Or...
Yeah, I think she might have been 18, but like just, you know.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
And she was watching...
Just old enough to call a bitch.
Yeah. Legally. And I was thinking like I made sure when she touched me, she was touching. No, but she was...
And I made sure when I touched her...
Her mum wasn't watching. So her mum was with her across the table. And she was this young girl was watching on her phone Emily in Paris. And it was so funny. Every time her mum didn't bother her the whole trip, but like as soon as her mum wanted to interact, she was like, and took her headphones off and had to very kind of smarmily, like not smarmy, but just like, yeah, that really attitude filled, like pausing the button on sassy and like
dramatically,
dramatically, and just like and pause and was like what and took it, and then like before her mum had even finished, she'd be like okay, and like press play already, and then she'd be like because her mum hadn't finished, and like she was so fucking, and I'm like I was that person, like I so remember. Like not long ago, you know, just... You
can really empathize with her plight.
Yeah. But she was...
Her mom sounds like a bitch, too.
Oh, her mom was so lovely.
Bitch.
She was so German, you know, the haircut and the makeup and, you know, her little packet of tissues, and she was great. I liked her a lot. So anyway, the Emily in Paris that I was watching from, like right next to this girl's head... it was just like all these really skinny people, and I was like, oh, this little girl wants to be one of these characters for sure, because the way that she held herself and what she was wearing and how skinny she was, and I was just like, and how uptight she was. So anyway, talk to me about your hatred of Emily in Paris.
Well, I wish you've seen it so that you could
chime in,
you know, commensurate with me.
I was thinking of watching it today.
Well, you should.
I started watching Glow Up instead, which is a makeup artist reality TV show competition.
I know what it is.
Oh, yeah! I don't watch TV, and I am enjoying this so much.
Yeah, I that actually caught my eye as well. Yeah. But no, Emily in Paris is... So first of all, to respond directly to your experience, I find it very... discouraging that young girls watch this show. I get it makes so much sense that they do, because they're the only people who would enjoy it. But I had forgotten that. I just assumed like everyone watching it was like me and could see how shit and stupid it is, but that's not true at all. And that's why it's even more worrisome, because the show is like, oh my God, it's so I hate watch it so intensely.
Okay. What's the overarching problem with the show?
God, it's the Arc de Triomphe of TV shows, you could say. The sex move, I mean. It's the...
Oh, the sex...
Yeah, it's it's just like high fives all around, but...
But what is it? What is it? It's just congratulating.
Super self-congratulatory. It's like, okay, so Darren Star is the producer and like director, main writer of the show, and he does everything. Darren Star did Sex and the City, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so like Sex and the City is pretty great. Yeah. Sometimes annoying, but in general, overall, is pretty good.
It's also like we need to place it in its time. You know, like you need to watch that show and be aware of when it was made.
Yeah, totally. I just think sometimes like Carrie, I'm just like, Carrie, come on, like he doesn't like you. Stop. Yeah. Oh. Like that's the kind of thing where it's just like this is very like her behaviors are very like sometimes she's really annoying. But I think I like Sarah Jessica Parker a lot, so I'm sure that it's Darren Star's fault that Carrie was ever annoying.
Oh, I'm certain.
I mean, now we know it. Now we know that that's almost all he is. Like, probably people were just like holding him back, and like he had enough checks and balances that Sex and the City ended up only like leaking out a little bit of his annoying vision. But
Okay,
I think Emily in Paris is all his, and
so this
he just has his run of the place.
So that vision that you're referring to, like if he'd had his full way with Sex and the City, then, pardon me, Sarah Jessica Parker would have been even more fawning and less self-respectful and...
Right, and less self-reflective. I mean, she's not that self-reflective, but even less self-reflective. And so, like, Emily in Paris... So, Sex and the City ends
you've got
with...
other characters that do have that in Sex and the City.
Exactly, they're real characters. But Emily in Paris, the characters are very two-dimensional, and it's all about this... Okay, so this is kind of like a bit that I've been working on. I won't put hardly any effort into it, but it's basically that, like, when I started watching the show, like the first episode, I was like, wait, what's going on here? I don't understand what's happening. And then I figured it out. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. She's annoying.
Is she supposed to be
annoying?
Like,
that's what's going on here. Like, she's really annoying. I think, I mean, at first I was just like, I guess this is like it. This is the show. It's about this annoying girl. Whether Darren Star thinks she's annoying or not, that's what the show is. And then everyone sort of, at first they all hate her. Thank God. That's what she deserves for all 3 seasons. Every episode she deserves to be punished. But unfortunately, what happens is that gradually she grows on them because she has this kind of magic of just, you know, like she comes up with an idea and it's vaguely clever and then the whole world swoons. And it's kind of like the lesson in it is just like, if you're pretty enough, you can be the biggest asshole in Paris.
Is she an asshole?
She's the biggest asshole. It's incredible. I mean, she has no idea. Like, this actress, Lily Collins, who's Phil Collins' daughter, even more annoying. It's all through nepotism that she's even famous. But she has no self-awareness that, like, people hate the show. It's famous because people watch it like a train wreck, like me. Like, that's why it's so widely viewed, because you can't take your eyes off of it. But when you see her, like, when you see her speak to that in interviews, she'll just be like, well, I think that the show's success speaks to actually how good it is, and da-da-da. And it's like, aren't you fucking just admit it's just a job and you're disgusted with yourself for doing this job, but you have to do it because you're an actress and you just have to do it. You just have to fucking, you know, like... But
she doesn't... it sounds like she doesn't have any perspective around it, and there would be so much on that kind of production if it's being made in sincerity and there's none of this, like,
it's not camp at all. It is completely sincere, which is just it's so
there'd be so much like, you know, self-congratulatory talk within that. Like, if that's the show, then that's definitely the culture of the people making it, and then that's all she would hear, and that's all she could believe, right?
I think so. Yeah. And also, so now, one thing is that all the characters are, like, they're not as annoying as she is. They're all really good looking. That's also part of why it's hard not to watch the show, because it's hard to take your eyes off these actors for how attractive they are. But she... Like, they all like her, love her, whatever. They can't get enough. They all swoon around her. And for me, this is also a part of what's infuriating is it's like there's no way anyone would like her in real life. This would be the most hated, most despised person in Paris for sure. Like, she would be deported based on how distasteful and annoying she is. But instead, all these characters who are just a little less annoying love her. And what I realized, because that just is so frustrating, and what I finally realized, I was like, oh wait, no, they're all annoying.
Every character
is
annoying.
It helps a lot to realize they're all stupid and annoying. And in that world, stupid and annoying people like each other, actually. They all enjoy each other's, because they're like, that's like me. I think like that too.
I'm curious about the distastefulness. Like, what's something that is... What is something that Emily in Paris did that was distasteful?
Fuck, man.
Distasteful. That's an interesting one. It's an interesting word.
It's just the dumb shit she says. I mean, they all say dumb shit all the time, but I guess she just...
Is it, like, offensive to French culture? Is it offensive to feminism? Is it offensive to... It's
just, it's offensive to, like, intelligence, like thinking people, like, so, okay, this is almost the end of my diatribe. Which is that, so Sex and the City ends with Carrie moving to Paris to be with Alexander Petrovsky.
Yeah.
And Darren Star clearly had some kind of like unfinished business with his Paris fantasy for Carrie, or whatever he like wanted. You know, he got like a taste and was like, oh, like it was insatiable. So he decided to make this new series, which is like a continuum of that, except, you know, and so it's like, it's got similar aspects to Sex and the City, where it's like, there's like, they talk about sex and they're like vaguely witty, but barely. It's the cheapest shots. Like, it's so hacky. I mean, Sex and the City is much more clever. Their dialogue much more real. Yeah. But it's also all about couture and high fashion. And in every single scene, this bitch doesn't make money. She lives in like a fucking closet, like sized apartment, like Carrie. But she's every single scene, she's wearing a new Chanel whatever, like giant shoulders headpiece. Like, it's crazy. So it's just like, honestly, it's just Darren Star's like superficial jack off piece where he's just like, oh, I don't really have to put any like thought into this, do I just want it to like feel good. And that's what you get from it, is like, you're like, okay, there are lots of bright colors, I feel very overstimulated, and everybody looks good, and there's an annoying protagonist that's like kind of his dream. That's pretty much it. All
right. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it now.
Well, I kind of wish you would, so that you could also have a chip on your shoulder about it.
I kind of want to, but it also sounds... I don't know. It's funny. I'm not very good at watching things that I don't think have any value.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's normal.
Yeah. Well, not for everybody.
What's wrong with you?
Like, not for... Like, a lot of people can. Like, I usually don't ever watch reality TV shows. But I think it's because I spend all this time with my family. And so it's kind of like this nostalgic, like, being around them and doing what they do vibe and enjoying that. I don't know. Like,
like being like a stable... like wholesome human being with like deeper family values that aren't based on just like consuming trash.
Hold on, no. Like, I feel like everything you said and then it got contradicted at the end.
So I guess I didn't understand.
I feel like being a stable person that's like human values and family focused, that person watches trash.
Oh, so actually... So then why don't you watch trash?
I can't understand the waste of time it is. And like, I could be producing as opposed to consuming. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm sort of doing it now. But I think, you know, and now I'm going to try and justify what I am watching. Like, for example, I love Bridgerton. Bridgerton was great. That was very enjoyable. You know, well, it's a fun story. It's pretty Jane Austen-esque. Diverse, nice, and super sexual, which of course
always your footnote.
Dude, okay, so flying back on Emirates, there was not a single film in all the comedies that were all so family friendly. It was like nothing was sort of sexual. There was not a single kind of sexual thing.
Right, because you're on Emirates.
And I was like, holy fuck, there wasn't a single thing I wanted to watch.
Yeah, not even nothing. You are very uncomplicated in some ways.
Really? Like, and I think I need to talk about this. I need to write some bits about it. Like, I am, like, it's really very one street. Like, it's just, like, my brain is like that. I can't, like, I can talk politics and, you know, stuff, but, like...
Fuck them.
But, like,
Fuck
sex.
Politics.
Sex is the most, like, I want all of those interesting intellectual things mixed with sex. Like, that's what is interesting for me.
Well, and that's also, like, that's your strength. So, I mean, because it's so interesting to you, it ends up becoming your strength in your writing, your comedy.
I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
But I was bringing this up because sex, Emirates, Emily and Pat, watching trash. Oh, yeah. I ended up playing Tetris on the plane as well, which...
Okay.
Yeah,
That's so much more sophisticated.
The German couple next to me were just like, what the fuck is this adult woman doing playing Tetris? But also the reality TV, like, the glow up is, you know, that's actually like watching people make art.
Right. Well, no, kind of. I mean, it might satisfy a similar area in your, like, an area in your brain adjacent to the area of your brain that's where people actually, you know, witnessing people actually create art. Like, it's close. It's close enough.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that I don't like reality TV either because I find it voyeuristic and really disgusting for the most part.
I think it doesn't help humans. Like it's bringing out the worst. And in all of the interactions, for example, on this show, I'm like, how much is this just sliced and diced to show us this one element of this person? Like,
right. And to really try to demonize, it's to create a particular narrative that you don't know if it was even there.
Exactly.
But the only value that I can say is like, and I think its true value is there by watching certain trashy TV shows. If they're a cultural phenomena, then you get to be a part of the conversation.
Yes.
And so there's some kind of social value. So like, I've started watching Laguna Beach, which is...
That's because of Pat Moore.
Yeah, well, it's because... I grew up on the OC, and then I didn't watch Laguna Beach, even though it was on... But now I'm nostalgic for it, so I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, now Patrick and I have so much to talk about. So it's like, there's like this social value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a kind of, I mean, you have to be able to stand it too. Like, I can't stand Jersey Shore, even for all the social value that it has.
That's tough. No, there's certain reality things that I just think are exploitative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not what you... Yeah, I don't want to see people being... Yeah.
Do you have a particular show in mind that you think is exploitative?
Oh, Big Brother was pretty horrific.
I actually never saw that one.
Yeah.
I don't know
I had a friend that was on it, actually. But it was like the first reality TV show in Australia. Really. And the most horrific, I think. Yeah, like really brutal stuff. Like, as in by brutal, just putting people in, just like bringing out the worst of human behavior. And it's like, that's not, no.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of justify their suffering with you can kind of balance it out with knowing that the kinds of people who want to be on these shows are attention seeking. And I mean, it depends on the
just
show.
Money seeking. That's the thing. These things are always promising a certain amount of money, and so it's kind of like there's also a sort of like whether it's fame or money, it's like there's a desperation in these people and then how much is that? Like it's just in that sense that they're kind of sad.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Teen Mom is such a sad show. Also, though, I think it's one of the best reality shows. It's so sad. But the thing is that I watch it and really feel for those girls.
Yeah.
But the show is exploiting them. But they all every teen mom is wealthy, like fantastic, fabulously wealthy from that show. So it starts, like they don't pay them, I think, until the show is over. Yeah. So like you watch them in destitution and their desperation. It's like really sad. Yeah. But like if those girls if this was their golden ticket, then like I guess it's kind of better that it existed than didn't. And especially if what people are attracted to is the force of empathy that it brings out in them. I mean, that's just particularly me. Like, I don't like Love on the Spectrum. I think that's exploitative. I don't think those people can necessarily fully consent.
I've watched a little bit of that again with my family, like 3 years ago when I visited last time.
It's your people's ideation.
I didn't know I was Australian. I assumed it was British.
You probably hear Australians talk and you just don't hear anything, so you forget.
No. I notice accents.
Oh, they're very Australian.
I do.
Those Aussies, those Austies. Austies, autistic Aussies.
Aussie Austies. Oof. It was just because it's 3 years ago and I only watched like one episode and then I was like, can we not? Like, but at the same time, I don't want to. It's not that I find it in any way. Like, it was just like it's just a bit heartbreaking. Actually, it's just watching these people try to connect and it's really hard, like, and when it's different types of different people on different parts of the spectrum, it's like, and just seeing the kind of and the loneliness that it talks about, that was just like, that's what. But you don't want to be pitying them because it's like that's not the point of it. But it kind of. So that's an interesting show because I have had like very deeply empathic
highly intelligent friends tell me to watch it because they're like, it's so touching.
Yeah.
And then I've watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and I thought this is very touching. Like it's heart-wrenching actually.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way that reality TV, like the production is always like the way that they add music at certain times, and they've got the moms in there, and it's somehow, it's just so, it exposes these people on such a deep level that I feel they're maybe not aware they can never be aware of how exposed they are. Even if they're being exposed and people are having a loving response, it's like I don't think that's fair to them.
I don't know all the ins and outs of how it's put together and what they're told, and and I also think like the carrot of you might meet someone is
exactly.
I'd say that's definitely what's motivating the kid, not contestants, but the participants.
Right, because they're so their intentions are so genuine.
Yeah.
Heartbreakingly. They're really motivated to fall in love.
And in that sense, it's like, wow, there's the authenticity of these people. These people is so different to the people that you'll see on other dating shows or on other reality shows where, exactly.
That's really well said. I think that really captures it, is that there's this authenticity that it just like it's almost grating how authentic they are, and that's what hurts when you watch them, is that it's so earnest.
Yeah, exactly.
And then these other like people who do these shows are
these assholes.
They're assholes, yeah. Although I do like The Bachelor sometimes.
Oh, look.
Every so often, I'll poke my head in and I'm just like, that's what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I like her. Oh, I like her. But it's fun to just get like really, because you get very high school. That's the fun of that, is that you can get in very high school gossip mind where you're like, well, that's the fun of watching Laguna Beach, is that I can go to Patrick and I can be like, Elsie really deserves to be with Steven. But Steven like doesn't treat her right. And then like, I don't like... But Steven also, like, he's still deliberating between Kristen and Elsie, and I feel like he really needs to make a decision.
That's great.
But it's really fun.
It's just such trash.
Really fun.
That's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I don't know. I think like there's a place for this kind of TV, and I think it's I don't know, like you can't always be watching these fucking Emily in Paris's or these like nice put together. Like I think it's good that we have reality TV.
I think it's here.
Regardless
of whether it's good or not, it's here. It exists.
It exists. But we can enjoy it, and there's solid reasons why. Wow, the moon is really... anyway, this is not good listening content, but we're gonna need to wrap up because we got shows to go to.
Yeah, we got shows.
We got shows
before hoes, as we say.
We got the hoes before the shows, but
but
shows before hoes.
We cut it short with the hoes because for
the shows.
Can't sacrifice the shows
exactly
for the hoes.
Yeah, something horrible happened. The recording stopped at some point, but I'm filming it, so I don't know why it stopped. It's so weird. I must have accidentally pushed it, but I'll get the audio from the iPhone. So
cool.
So that's all right.
Well, do we have
anything we needed to, any untied ends that need tying?
Well, I feel like we tied up all the ends that we started with in this conversation.
I think so.
If there's anything
that we wanted to talk about.
I don't know. I mean, we can always talk about Buddhism. We can always talk about... I've got like just endless bad experiences I can tell people about, right?
Nah, listen.
But I don't think that we should open that up.
We can save that. We can totally save that. No, I think we're going to wrap it up. And we can always do another one as well.
Yes, we can.
We can do a third one.
Yeah, we can. We've shown the listeners from the first episode that a second episode is possible.
It's possible. And who knows, a third or a fourth.
Oh, my third New Year's resolution.
Oh, yes.
Is to walk every day, even if... So I have to run on the weekends because it's too dark to run in the park after work.
It's rapey.
but it's like because of the raping.
Yeah,
yes, of course, it's very rapey outside.
It's very rapey. From 3 p.m. from like 3:30 p.m. It's rapey.
I know. We don't like. I feel like that's a conversation that needs to be had. Is that women in Northern Europe or the Northern hemisphere lose their rights by the time change?
Yes.
Like that's why we shouldn't have the time changes because it affects our freedom. Like
Absolutely.
I can't go to the park anymore after 4.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's actually
like
that's
I
like,
have to
should
change
be a
how I
political
navigate where I go. Like I won't take that path on Google Maps.
Yeah, that's crazy. At
because of the
4, like it's okay, fine. If it's like 7 or 8, it's like all right. But at least I had the whole day.
Yeah.
I had time
Even
after work.
6 p.m. like an hour after work if you're finishing at 5. Okay, but like when it's 4 p.m., it's like okay, I can't go to. I can't do these things.
Yeah. It's like I think that's actually
issue.
that is something that like that is a good argument against daylight savings changing.
Oh, but it's for women, so it's got no traction. It's going nowhere.
That's a good point. But it's fucked. It's really fucked. I can't
fucked.
like during the winter. I can't work out. I'm gonna like chub up, and that's just the.
It's just the reality.
The reality of
That's
it.
your other rape prevention.
That's oh my god. That's really funny. That's really funny. No. I'm
You're just gonna be too unattractive to rape.
I'm not sorry. I'm too unattractive to rape. I'm too chubby. I mean, like, which one of these folds is my vagina? Try and find it.
Try them all. I put on weight in winter because I usually ride my bike everywhere, and in winter I'm too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like because it's so cold, you'll sweat and then you stop, and then the sweat makes you like you're wet, and then it's super fucking cold. Like I can't.
Yeah.
And then the ice heat. No. So I just get a bit rounder in winter, and that's just how it is, and that's also my rape prevention. Oh god.
Rape prevention.
Sponsored.
Just stop doing anything. Just stop.
Just fill your fridge and your holes at home. Don't go into the park.
Don't go into the park. But unless you're fat.
Unless you're fat.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're saying this.
Well, but we're talking about ourselves.
I know. I just the horrible thought just came into my head of like if there's like a weight scale of like rape victim. Oh, this is really bad. I'm gonna stop.
Interesting. Actually, I'm reading, this is kind of like, this would be a whole other topic in itself, but I'm reading this really fascinating post-liberal feminist book called A Case Against the Sexual Revolution.
Uh-huh.
And one of the topics is actually this is very triggering, and if I don't explain it right, everyone's just going to be upset and having flashbacks
so
about
just
their
race
rape.
into it, okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. So like a bull in the china shop. Here I go. It's about how there are statistics that teenage girls are the highest. They're the group that's most likely to be raped, and the group that's doing it is men under 25. It rarely happens. Like it does happen over the age of. It happens to girls who are not teenagers, but
Absolutely.
mostly. To teenage girls, and it happens like with older men, but mostly with men under 25. And if you go into the biological or evolutionary kind of theories behind this, it's that there are certain men with a biological predisposition to be turned on by violence and to like they have a disposition to rape, and those are the rapists, and they can't be reformed. That's the thing. So because
violence is different to consent, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it is the fact of the sex being violent and violent in the way that this girl doesn't want it. And anyway, so one of the studies that the author refers to is how statistically it's a specific group of women that get raped. It's the hottest ones, the teenagers. And then what I was just going to say is that the reason she brings this up is not to say like, because a lot of the time when the evolutionary function of rape comes up, it's to justify rape. But she brings it up to be like, we have to look at the fact that there is an evolutionary or biological element to it. But if we don't look at it, then we're going to keep addressing it in ways that are delusional and don't work. Like just by teaching consent. You can't teach consent to the group of men that do it. That's her argument, and statistically and through all this research, it shows, this is just what she says, that it can't, and I don't know if I agree or not, but it's really interesting, and that what we need to do is respond to, how do you deal with, like as a society, we can really serve women by responding to, how do you deal with a group of people that won't control their impulses.
Yes.
That have these impulses and will not control them.
Yes. Same with pedophilia.
Exactly. Yeah. But we need to look at the hard truth, the devastating, terrifying truth of that in order to address it adequately. So anyway, in terms of statistics on age and rape, body type and rape, there's probably all that stuff out there.
It's the hot girls.
It's hotties. The hotties are getting
Oh fuck. We're gonna wrap it up on that note.
This winter.
Maybe change the stats, guys. Fat girls, get into those parks. Oh man.
Rape can happen to anyone who's hot, and getting fat can happen to anyone, even who's hot.
Exactly.
So this is a very even playing field.
Very even. Oh my god, this is the perfect.
Hot girls beware.
Hot girls beware.
It's gonna end one way or another.
Yeah, your numbers are going down.
It's not gonna end well either way.
All right, guys, wrapping it up. It's been a pleasure, Sophia.
Maybe I'll just plug my shows.
Please.
I have 2 shows on Tuesday. I have Lil Bastards at Valentin Strubel that I produced and host. It's a lineup of 8 comedians. They're always great. And then on Wednesday is Risky Business at Funkloch. And it's a good rowdy time at both of them.
Fuck yeah. I love Risky Business. I haven't done Little Bastards yet. I'm gonna get onto it because that's a newer show.
It's very similar, except with a less glamorous.
Yeah, Valentin Stube. What a venue. All right, guys, that has been Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Thank you so much, and goodbye.